On today's episode of the DeRaud-Messinger Show, we make our Texas high school football title picks. High school football fans, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. It's greatly appreciated. Dylan, we've come to the end of the 2021 season. In what way to end it other than having another rematch between Duncanville and North Shore? This is a 6A D1 battle. North Shore is the 7th ranked team in the state. Duncanville is the 4th ranked team. Who do you got?
Well, Devon, this time is Duncanville's time to win it against North Shore. You know Reginald Samples is licking his lips for this win, Devon. And starting with their bruising running back, Malachi Medlock is going to need to gash this North Shore front seven to alleviate the difficult task that Solomon Toffus is going to be facing with this infamous North Shore secondary, Devon, especially with Denver Harris, who's most likely going to be taking away Duncanville star wideout DeCorian Moore, if I'm pronouncing that right, because I'm not very good at that, as everyone knows with recent track record, but I'm fixing it now. So look for that matchup between, obviously, the backfield, especially the quarterback against North Shore's secondary. You're going to be looking at that. Now, leaning towards that running game against this North Shore front seven. And on the other side of the ball, Duncanville is only allowing 11.7 points per game, Devon. And they also held an explosive, and obviously our Carroll Dragons, to 9 points last week. That's the only mention I'm going to say about that game. We don't need to go into depths about it, but I mean, this is a defense in Duncanville that's going to be facing a, extreme dual threat quarterback. I'm saying extreme because this guy's basically a running back with an arm, and then that's freshman Caleb Bailey for North Shore, who ran for 203 yards, Devon, as well as 100-plus yards throwing last week. So, they're in for a tough one. And then the other side, again, look for Denver Harris to really just lock down, create his own island defensively against Duncanville. And this is a running back in Xavier Owens, who's going to need to help out Caleb Bailey in that backfield against this Duncanville front seven. That's one of the best in the nation, Devon. So, again, that's another matchup. Look, that front seven against North Shore's backfield. It's definitely one to watch as well. And then, obviously, I'm going with Duncanville, Devon, in this matchup.
I really thought Carroll had more of a chance last week, Dylan, but, we were wrong. As you said, Duncanville really flexed and got that rematch revenge, winning 35-9. But North Shore also looked great against Lake Travis with the 49-21 win. As you said, Bailey and Owens are really their key offensive players to watch. But for Duncanville, as you said, defense wins championships, Dylan. A lot of times you like to not touch on the defense. You're doing a little bit of it here, but Duncanville, just to name a couple of guys, and that is even probably doing the rest of the team a disservice. You got Colin Simmons, Amari Abar, Jordan Crook. Now, those three alone on a defense would make any defense a good defense, but like I said, they got more talent. And then North Shore also has Christopher Ross, and you said Denver Harris. So I think this might be a low-key defensive battle. I'm not really trusting the freshman quarterback, not just because it's Bailey. He's looked great so far this season, but in general, I'm not going to be the one to trust a freshman quarterback in the state title game. I think he'll do enough to keep it entertaining, but I think Duncanville, in the end, has the experience to finally win this one. But yet again, since we picked them, it could be wrong. In the next game, we have 6A D2, number 9 Denton Guyer versus number 1 Westlake. Now, Dylan, Westlake might be one of the greatest high school football teams in Texas history, if I'm being quite frank here, but their secondary hasn't been too tested, at least in the games that I have seen, because their defensive front is so great and gets pressure on the quarterback. I'm going to shout out your boy, Michigan commit Ethan Burke, 6'7". Where do you find these guys? Westlake on the defensive end has been putting in the work, but like I said, it's going to be interesting to see. Jackson Arnold, the quarterback for Guyer, has all the offers that you really want from a quarterback. He's going to be putting a little bit of pressure on that Westlake defense, but I think Westlake's too powerful, especially when you look at their offense, which is probably way better than their defense. Got Cade Klubnik, Jaden Greathouse, Keaton Quebec, even the running game with Jack Kaiser is looking really solid. So I got Westlake. I think dodgeball, Todd Dodge strikes one more time right before retirement.
Yeah, how do you beat a team that's has the number one scoring offense, Devon, in their classification, as well as the number one defense, only allowing 8 points per game this season. And again, shout out Ethan Burke at defensive end, as well as defensive end Colton Vasek on the other side. So these guys have just been tearing havoc on these offenses, the opposing offenses. But to touch on Guyer first, I mean, Jackson Arnold only attempted 8 passes, Devin, but he had 3 touchdowns last week. We were there for that, and they were beautiful passes, I must add. They were beautiful passes, and it was a great touchdown to completion percentage. I must add 3 out of 8, so hats off to him. But he's going to need to pass more in this matchup. I mean, Tom Ball was wrecked in the trenches on their defensive line and on their offensive line. That pass rush from Guyer was just on a whole nother level, leaving Tom Ball just scrambling on offense. But this is not a team you're not going to be able to push around if you're Guyer. Westlake is going to be more than likely pushing them around. So it's going to be time to get a little dirty. Look for safety Peyton Bowen who had an interception against Tom Ball and a punt return. So he's got that explosiveness, especially when he gets a tackle or just a fumble recovery, obviously, or interception, just taking that to the house. So that's something that Cade Klubnik needs to look out for. But Devin, of course, I'm going to be having to go with Westlake in this matchup. But I must add, the one thing that Westlake has going against them here is that everyone is picking them to win, and they are due for a loss, Devin, at some point. So maybe it'll happen now, or maybe it will never happen. But yeah, we'll be going with Westlake just about with everyone else in the state. Now, their next one, then we got 5A D1, Katy Paetow, number 3, Katy Paetow, I must add, versus number 2, College Station. I mean, Devin, this is a College Station team that led by running back Marquise Collins. He had 230 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns last week as he continues to run rampant throughout these playoffs right now, just wrecking havoc everywhere he goes. And QB Jed Huff, I believe he's 5'7", around those lines, but he's got a great arm, and he's able to, if he can scramble out to the edges, get past this linebacking core of Katy, he can really do some damage just, with his feet as well as just passing the ball. But on the other side of things, Paetow, they are not one to be messed with. They've got the number 1 offense in 5A D1 as well as the number 2 defense. And like I just touched on, a linebacking crew that's just been making a nightmare for QBs on the field. And so their demolition against Flower Bluff as well. They had 600 yards offensively, Devin, in that matchup. So they're going to be a team that's gets physical and can impose their will offensively as well as defensively. But in this matchup, I'm going to be going with the experience that College Station has with their main core of skill players and just all around on their team. So I'm going to be looking for College Station with seems to be an upset at this point, Devin, surprisingly.
Yeah, I agree. It seems like most people are going Paetow and College Station, even though they're the higher-ranked team, not getting as much love. And Dylan, I believe Paetow entering the playoffs with ranked 8th, but they've been playing like the 3rd-ranked team. And like I've heard quite a bit, they have a lot of Division I talent, especially on that defensive side of the ball. Linebackers that have stood out this season include juniors Alexander Kilgore and Damian Sanford. Both have over 80 tackles this season. But College Station, I'm also picking them. Got Marquise Collins at running back, who's picked up a couple of offers from schools such as Baylor and I believe Utah. He's been really doing the work for them. And if Paetow wants to win this game, they're going to have to stack the box and make College Station throw the ball. I got College Station as well. I think, like you said, maybe a little more experience. Their playoffs, they were facing a lot of ranked teams, so maybe those difficult opponents will have prepared them for this moment. But yet again, I would not be surprised if I'm wrong here, because Paetow has been the murder's row in 5A D1 this year, so we'll see. Now, Dylan, we got our lightning round. Now, this is an extra special lightning round, Dylan, because guess what? It's state title edition and not strictly just ranked matchups anymore. So the first game we got, 5A D2, Liberty Hill versus number 5, South Oak Cliff. I have South Oak Cliff.
I have South Oak Cliff as well. Devin, next we got 4A D1, number 2, Stephenville versus number 1, Austin LBJ. Devin, this could have been in our top 3 matchups for this, but going with Austin LBJ with this one.
Yeah, this one gave me a lot of nightmares. I went Stephenville, though. It's going to be a good passing versus passing defense type of game. The next game we have 4A D2, Dylan, number 5, China Spring versus number 2, Gilmer. I have China Spring.
I have China Spring as well, Devin. I'm making sure to get that one correctly this time. Next one we got 3A D1, number 5, Lorena versus number 2, Brock. Devin, I have Lorena.
Okay, I got Brock. You know, they were looking to win it all last year. It didn't happen. I think this is the year. The next game we have 3AD2, number 2 Gunter versus number 1 Franklin. I got Franklin.
Yeah, I got Franklin as well. Next one we got 2AD1, number 5 Holly versus number 2 Shiner. Devin, I have Shiner.
You can't pick against Shiner and our Brooks brothers over there. I got Shiner as well. The next game we have 2AD2, number 6 Fall City versus number 5 Stratford. I have Stratford.
I have Fall City in this one. Now the next one we got 1AD1, number 8 Westbrook versus number 1 May. Devin, I picked Westbrook to win it all, yet I've picked against them 3 times prior to this matchup, so I don't really know what to do. I'm going to be going with May in this one, but it's a win-win because either way, I'm right.
No. Showing no loyalty there. I've been picking Westbrook all year, even in their 4 losses, and I got Westbrook again in this one. The next game we have 1AD2, another really great game and a hard one to pick. Number 2 Strawn versus number 1 Motley County. I have Motley County.
I have Motley County as well. I think that defense for Strawn is finally going to be a liability for them.
And what are your state title picks? Let us know down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a great rest of your day.